Hi everyone, it's Sonia, and I'm hoping your 2022 is off to a strong start. So I'm curious, how many of you walk around every day as your best self? Feeling confident and full of courage and hope and happiness and belief that you can make whatever vision you set for yourself happen. Anyone? I've yet to get a unanimous yes on that, but that's because it can be challenging, and it's not every day we walk around that way. Sometimes we do, but maybe sometimes we don't. But there might be a compelling reason why it's worth striving for. I was listening to a podcast, The Science of Happiness, this weekend on being your best self. And it talked about the differences, not just in your mind, but also in your body and how it impacts all of your full self. And they did an interesting experiment. They had a group of participants and they had them imagine on stage that they were in front of a huge audience, and they had two people acting as a judge, and they would give them a math equation, complicated. It was 700 minus 11, and then take that answer minus 11, that answer minus 11, and they had to keep going until they got to 0 or for 5 minutes. And if they were wrong, the judges, really gruff and mean and harsh, would be like, wrong, start over, or loser, whatever the case may be, so that it created an extra element of stress. And not many people made it to 0. Most of them had to go the 5 minutes. And their cortisol levels were measured, and they were off the charts. Then they had the same group write down for 15 minutes their ideal vision of their best self and what it is that they would want, where they'd want to go, and really connecting deeply to it. Then for the next 2 weeks, they had them just visualize that vision every day for 5 minutes. And throughout those 2 weeks, they'd measure their cortisol levels and see how they were checking in, how they were doing. And then at the end of the 2 weeks, they put them back onto that stage, imagining once again a large audience, once again having the judges firing off that math equation and, no, you got it wrong, start over if they got it wrong. But this time, their cortisol levels did not drop nearly, or escalate, it didn't go up nearly as much. And it also came back to normal much faster. But even as they looked over the preceding 2 weeks, their stress levels were significantly lower even during the week prior to the second opportunity to be in front of the judge. And it was also lower than how it was before they even started this experiment. So it really went to show that when you really imagine, when you visualize, when you connect to the feelings of being your strongest, best self, it makes you feel good. And it impacts your hormones and all of those feel-good feelings that reduce your stress, reduce the adrenaline and the cortisol, that puts you in that fight, flight, fright. So it already sets you up to be in the best, most resourceful position to handle whatever comes your way. From an energetic standpoint, it also puts you in a place where you're more likely to attract things because you're at that higher vibration and you're putting forth the vision of what it is you want with that alignment of, yes, I can do it, I'm capable, I've got what it takes to make it happen, and then it's much more likely to come to you. So from both a physical and a mental perspective, this made a huge difference. And I do a perspectives exercise with a lot of my clients where I have them step into a variety of different perspectives. Sometimes they're great, sometimes they're bad, and in the end they get to choose where they go back to, and ultimately they'll go back to one of their better self perspectives. And from there, they'll come up with action items around a problem. And I'm always blown away by the specificity and individuality of the answers that come from that place. Because normally we come from a place of fear, doubt, lack of courage, and not that strongest, most confident, most, even happier place. And when you come from a more stressed out state, you're not able to tap your higher thinking in your brain, your higher reasoning, and you're not as creative, you're not as focused, your motivational center is tapped out, so you don't have the energy, and you're just not as likely to achieve and attract those things that you're really wanting. So if you want to live a calmer, less stressful life, and you want to attract some of all these wonderful things that you deserve and you're capable of, you can do and have, then doing some regular form of this exercise is really powerful. So in order to step into your best self, there's a couple things. One, visualize. It really does make a difference. It changes your belief system, and it really does reduce the stress. But you got to connect to it. So you don't want to just be like, yeah, I got it. So really see it, feel it, and do it regularly. Or journal about it, write about it, and again, connect to the feelings that you have with that. You can also Moticise to it, which means imagine it and ask yourself a series of questions while you're exercising, whatever that might be. Walking, swimming, running, biking, hiking, it doesn't matter. As long as you're moving and elevating your heart rate, you're also opening your brain to this kind of higher creative, higher thinking place. And by visualizing your best self, you're tapping into it and accessing it more. So if that's something you're interested in, I have a special offer. Check it out below. You can do more Moticise. And then from that place, however you reach that best self state, ask yourself, who am I here? What do I do? What do I believe? What actions or daily rituals do I do from this place? And then go off and make that happen. And really practice it. It is like learning a new sport or a new hobby or cooking a new meal, whatever it might be. Changing thinking patterns can take a little time, but with some regular consistency, not a ton of time, you'll start to see the change. And you are worth it. So take that. Go out in the world and shine.